All right, we're back. I don't know. Damn it. Okay, reset. Hello and welcome to True Criminals. I'm Eric.
I'm Rachel.
This is True Criminals, a podcast where we talk to regular people about the crimes they have committed. So we're not really going to have a new episode this week, but I did want to release something just so that people know we're not really having a full episode or even like a mini episode. We're just going to do a little quick little like kind of just crime news catch up or something like that, but not really putting anything out. I do have a guest recorded already, but we've been pretty busy this week with our trivia team making the finals and whatnot. Wow! So we've been tied up with trivia all week. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. So didn't have time to edit. I wanted to too, because we recorded with a guy whose name is basically Robert Oppenheimer, and I think Oppenheimer comes out this week.
Yeah, Friday.
So I was like, well, what a perfect time to release my interview with a guy whose name is actually Robert Opper. And he's like, he's the former, who's the top lawyer in a state? What do you call that person?
The Attorney General?
He's the former Attorney General of Guam. And yeah, so he was very interesting. And we'll have that episode for you next week. I think he told, it's been a couple weeks. I think he told some stories about maybe having to like arrest like a terrorist or something like that. But anyway, yeah, we'll hear about it next week. In the meantime, like I said, I just wanted to do kind of just touch up on some things. Oh, I got Rachel here with me. If you've been listening, last week we had she had a rebuttal to our friend Brent's statements on there. Just as an update, he did reach out to Rachel for her rebuttal and said, "How dare you?" I believe. So if you're keeping up with that internal drama.
But he also said he agreed with me.
So, just so you know, we're not out here talking behind our guests' back. They're aware. So beyond that, so I am going to play something here. I just want to know, I'm going to get your opinion on it. So this is a clip of something that RFK Jr. recently said, and I'm going to share that now, and we'll see what you guys say about it.
In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacks certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure, genetic differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
So yeah, that was Robert F. And he's a doctor, I believe, and he's running for president. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't think he's running for president, is he?
I think he's toying with the idea of it, and so yeah, I think with speculative polls, people are like, because he's a doctor and he's kind of crazy, and I think he's technically a Democrat, but he's crazy.
I don't think he's a Democrat.
Well, so maybe he's an independent that like has a lot of Democratic stances. But either way, people are like really praying that he doesn't run because he'll like hurt the election and we'll end up with Trump again or something like that. But he's a doctor. He's also spreading all this nonsense because he's a doctor. A lot of people are listening to him. And this was just one kooky thing he said last week.
Who's the real criminal? Who's the real criminal? Who's the real criminal?
I mean, if we're calling people out for nonsense like that, and we're going to call people criminals for their opinions, with our opinions, then yeah, I wanted to draw attention to him because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think he's crazy.
Yeah, so he's with Cheryl Hines, and I believe that's right. He's with Cheryl Hines, but she's like outspoken about like, I mean, she's like, I'm with him, but I'm not with him.
I mean,
because he's crazy.
I don't think you can say that. I mean, obviously, you don't have to share all the same beliefs as the partner you're with, but you do have to tolerate all those beliefs.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's odd because I believe she's a pretty outspoken liberal, and to have somebody out there that has like a public persona that they have followers, and they're spreading misinformation like that with credentials, like he is a doctor, and
he's a Kennedy,
and so that's another thing, like. I've made the argument a lot of times about how, like, I think the world is dumb and most people in it are very stupid. And I use myself as sort of a measure on most things. Like, if I don't know it, if like this kind of average information, I figure most people don't know it. And I know he's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but I don't even know who Robert F. Kennedy is, really.
Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah, but Bobby Kennedy, that's John Kennedy's brother?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I would have put it all together, but at the same time, like, they call John F. Kennedy Jack Kennedy sometimes, and I'm like, how, like, I think I spent half my life not knowing that was the same person.
Bobby Kennedy murdered when he ran for president.
So, with that, though, I know there's a large swath of people out there who are thinking, like, this might be JFK's son or something like that. I mean, I don't think that, and I know he's not, but I'm just saying, like, with me being confused, like, at the first, utterance of his name, I know there are people out there who are like, yeah, Kennedy. He's great, right? He did some stuff, and they don't really know. And honestly, like, I think, when you actually get down to the nuts and bolts of it, I don't think JFK was that great. I think he did some things, but I think he had a lot of problems, too, that most people don't talk about.
He did. Bobby Kennedy was the better Kennedy.
And so when you think, with that in mind, most people don't think about that, because they don't focus on any of that in the movies. And because they don't focus on that, there's this, like, misleading image around the idea of John F. Kennedy, and then the fact, and maybe even just the entire Kennedy family, where I do know there are some good ones. I mean, there's obviously good ones, but and some great Kennedys out there. I think there's this misleading idea that the Kennedys are just like this American royalty who are just full of greatness, and then you got this nutbag out there spreading misinformation saying that COVID-19 is racially targeted. That's insane.
Yeah, and he's not the only crazy Kennedy. So, I mean...
Who else? Tell us some more.
You put me on the spot, I can't think of his name, but the one... oh my god.
Jamie Kennedy?
The one who talks with a fake Southern accent. What the fuck is his name?
Well, if you remember here in a minute, go ahead and let us know.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just wanted to touch base on that. I was going to go over some crime news stuff, and that was one of the things that I've heard on several other shows and heard in the news, and I just wanted to, I thought, well, shit, I want to say that this guy's a fucking loon and let people know. If he runs for anything, don't vote for him. If he says anything, don't believe him. Who's the real criminal? But, okay, beyond that, I did want to also touch on the SAG-AFTRA writer strike. The writer strike's been going on, I think, since May. And last week, SAG-AFTRA decided to strike. So one of the things I've been hearing a lot about this, and a lot of times I think most people don't care when they hear that the actors are on strike. They think actors, okay, well, who cares? They're all millionaires anyways, and they live comfortable lives, and who gives a shit? But we talked a lot about this on our most recent series where we talked about AI and how AI might replace actors' likenesses in the future and stuff like that. And so, like, that's some of the stuff they're negotiating in this strike about, and even most recently in that Netflix Black Mirror episode where they had, what was it, Joan
Joan is Awful.
Joan is Awful. It like touched on AI and how AI might steal people's likenesses. And so in Joan is Awful, they create this premise that, yeah, because nobody ever reads the fine print on their the contracts they sign with like their social media or their streaming platforms. You just check the box, I agree to whatever. They may have in the fine print that, yeah, they can use your likeness for whatever. In a Black Mirror AI future, they may make a series called, Eric is Awful, and then all of a sudden my likeness is being used. Well,
so let me tell you how this already happens. So Devon Sawa, who was in Final Destination, and I guess they use images of him and clips of him in Final Destination 5.
okay.
But he has never received any royalties or any money. He never got any money at all for Final Destination 5 because when he did Final Destination, they had him sign something saying that they could use his likeness, and he thought that it was for like promotional materials, which is commonplace. So he signed it, but yeah, then they used him in another movie that they never paid him for.
Okay, so it's like in Rogue One, where at the end they have a young Carrie Fisher show up, and it's not really Carrie Fisher. They just used CGI and another actress another actress. And so with Devon Sawa having signed that agreement, they could CGI Devon Sawa into a whole Final Destination 7. Without his approval. And this is some of the stuff that they're fighting for. And I know a lot of people just don't care because they're actors. But this is one of those situations where not all actors are millionaires and make a lot of money, but in fact, most of them don't, because there's going to be like hundreds of thousands of actors, and you only know like a couple hundred.
Right. Devon Sawa was doing fine, but most of the people in the Screen Actors Guild don't make a living off their acting. Yeah,
and so they're all standing together in solidarity, and while you may recognize Devon Sawa out there on a picket line and think, well, who gives a shit? You're out there picketing because you need more money, Devon Sawa? No, he's out there picketing because he is actually standing up for like the commercial actors and everybody else and the extras and everybody else who doesn't get millions of dollars and are being screwed over by having their likeness thrown into shit or whatever else they're negotiating for. And so this is one of the situations where, like, who's the real criminal situation?
Who's the real criminal?
It's the CEOs. And we come to this conclusion a lot on the show. We came to it a lot in our last series about who's the real problem, like in the AI future that we're heading toward. And yeah, it's the CEOs. And the CEOs involved in this SAG-AFTRA writer strike stuff, they're out there and they've been heard and been documented and reported on as saying some pretty horrible shit. I can't remember who it was. Somebody, it was like the CEO of Disney or somebody said that they just didn't care about the strike. They'd ride it out until all these actors lost their homes. And that's like
Iger, isn't that CEO of Disney?
I'm not sure, and I don't know that it was him that said it. Maybe I'll look it up and put it in the show notes. But either way, I mean, and some of the actors out there striking, like Ron Perlman, released a statement in response directly to that.
The motherfucker who said we're going to keep this thing going until people start losing their houses and their apartments. Listen to me, motherfucker. There's a lot of ways to lose your house.
He's going to become Hellboy for real.
Yeah. That's Ron Perlman from Sons of Anarchy. You don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. When I wanted to put together a quick little crime news update. Who's the real criminal? And there are some criminals to talk about. And yeah, the CEOs that are abusing and making these actors and writers strike because they're fighting for a living wage like so many other people out there. But okay, now I have one more clip I want to play. This is older. This came out a while back, but this was just a fun thing. I wanted to talk about it on a previous episode, never found an opportunity to throw it in. It doesn't even really fit here, but I'm throwing it in anyways.
Chick-fil-A, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest fraud ever pulled on American Christians. that this is some type of, like, Christian company. Shame on them. Shame on them. Dan Cathy was the CEO of Chick-fil-A. Dan Cathy, during the height of BLM, had the audacity to get on a church, get on stage at a church, one of these woke churches that teaches that Jesus was tolerant. Let me tell you what. Go read your Gospels. Let me tell you someone who wasn't tolerant. Christ. Tolerance is not a Christian virtue. Dan Cathy, with this woke Christian mind virus, got on stage, got on his knees, and began to shame all white people, saying that we better get down on our knees and start shining shoes.
Okay, so who's the real criminal? That was Benny Johnson. He's like a right-wing talk radio televangelist type nutbag. He hosts, like, I think he has a podcast and, like, a Christian radio show.
I mean, I'm going to give him that he's partially right. I think that the God of the Bible is not tolerant. And they're supposed to be the same person, Christ and God.
Okay.
But the New Testament Christ obviously is extremely tolerant.
Yeah, but what about Dan Cassidy or Kathy, CEO of Chick-fil-A?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he's not tolerant at all. I don't give a fuck about that guy.
Okay. But yeah, that's all. I
mean, if he's like, okay, if Dan Cathy's not racist, like, that's great, but that doesn't make you, or like, if he's not like overtly racist. If he's not overtly racist, that's great, but that doesn't make you some kind of saint. Or it doesn't even make you tolerant. Like, if you're just not overtly racist.
If you're not racist, you're tolerant. That's how it works. Not racist equals tolerant.
But I mean, yeah, obviously that guy is insane.
It's just a funny clip to hear someone say, you know who wasn't tolerant? Christ. All right, so yeah, there's just a couple of, touch points for who's the real criminal. Who's the real criminal this week? I think we can all agree.
Who's the real criminal?
Capitalism.
I mean, Dan Cathy, he's a big proponent and supporter of capitalism, right?
Yeah.
If he's tolerant at all, it's only because he hopes to get more money for being so.
Well, that's why they quit openly donating to anti-LGBTQIA plus organizations, because they realized it was hurting their bottom line. It's like, oh, we better stop doing that.
Well,
it doesn't make them tolerant. It just makes them a slave to capital.
Yeah, I mean, like, while I obviously acknowledge there's lots of evils in capitalism, it's the world that we live in. I do wish, like, okay, if I'm Dan Cathy of Chick-fil-A, you can hate in private all you want, man. Just do it in private. Yeah. The rules of capitalism are what everybody likes, you're supposed to like too. Because that's how you make your money. Yeah. And there are so many people out there who don't do that, and what they try to do instead is put a spin on things so they can continue to hate openly. Or they try to, like, target a minute group of people who hate along with them. It's like, we'll just try to get all their money by spreading their hate. But anyways, all right. Well, that's all I had for this little, like I said, now turned into a mini episode. So. And I don't remember Kennedy's first name. The one I was saying who's crazy, who fakes the southern accent. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Jamie Kennedy. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But I want to say, oh man, he's a senator, and this might be wrong, but I want to say he's a Louisiana senator. Is it that woman from the MTV show? Kennedy? Kennedy? Mm-hmm. I hope it's her, just dressed up and with a fake southern accent. I can't think of any. When you say Southerner and you're talking politics, all I can think of is that bald guy. What's his name? Famous with the Raging Cajun. God, what is that guy's name? Oh, I can't think. Dang it! Why are we even bringing up names if we can't remember any of them? But anyways, God, he hosted like Hardball or something like that. He's in Old School. He's famously married to like a Republican pundit.
I mean, I know you're talking about. I can't think of his name, but okay, he is the senator of Louisiana, and his name is John Kennedy.
John Kennedy. That ought to be easy to remember. John N. Kennedy.
John N. Kennedy, yes.
All right. Damn it! Who is that Raging Cajun guy that I now can't think of? He looks like a turkey. Wears glasses.
I mean, I know exactly who you're talking about.
I swear his name is Bill.
I have not heard his name in ages.
God damn it.
I think, like, not since... I don't think I've, like, seen him on TV since Obama ran for president the first time.
Okay. I'm probably just going to cut all this out, because what's the point in talking about it? But anyways, all right. Well, that's all I got for now. So, yeah, check us out on social medias. You can find us at true.criminals.podcast or at criminalstrue. You can go to my YouTube and find me there at UberNerdPrime. Scotty and I, who host the show sometimes, we have released some videos on there that are... I don't know if they're good, but they're worth watching, I guess. They're for projects that we're working on in the future. You can contact us directly at truecriminalsjailpod@gmail.com. You know, if you have any suggestions for the show, you want to yell at us, you have a criminal story of your own that you want to share, we can read it, you can come on the show, reach out to us there. In the meantime, I'm Eric.
I'm Rachel.
And this was True Criminals.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the co-host of CNN's Crossfire, famed political consultant, the Raging Cajun, Mr. James Carville.